Well, hello you wonderful mother truckers, you, and welcome to another lap round the old Elmdon Park. And hopefully, as we go through the seasons, you'll be able to see how things change. It could be like a nature programme, all free of charge. But it's drizzly today, and as you can see, it's very grey. Clouds are very low. I know down south they're having some really heavy rain. We were originally going to get the heavy rain, but fortunately it's staying down south. So here we go again on lap 2 of the 5th of September on this very damp day. Any case, so I've had my very first fan mail email, and when I say fan mail, I mean the one that started with the headline was "You're a far right prick," which I thought was a great way to endear yourself to your fellow, your potential reader. And usually I would delete them, but as it's my first ever one, I'm sure there'll be many more to come. I thought, you know what, I'll open this and I'll have a read. First name of the guy is Stephen, that's all I'm going to say. And basically I'm a stick as shit, or I'm a Tory voter, which stuns me, but in any case we'll carry on. And basically he goes down to list all the things that the Conservatives did, going on about the armed forces and this, that and the other. And it's pretty much like most of the fan mail that I get, where it's somebody who's watched maybe 30 seconds of a single video and hasn't looked at any other videos that are on the channel, because he goes on about how the Conservatives, it's the Conservatives, you idiot. I mean, he's clearly a Labour voter, so he's mentally unstable as it is. But the Conservatives are the ones that cut the armed forces. Well, Stephen, and anyone else who thinks that, can I strongly suggest you, instead of spending 30 seconds on a single video, actually look at my back catalogue, and you'll see that before Labour and before the general election, I was probably one of the few people who were continually doing videos drawing attention to how our armed forces have been butchered by the Conservatives. And in fact, I did many videos about how dicky the Conservatives were. But of course, as is always the way, you get this with people where they watch one video or 30 seconds of it, or even the headline, and decide that's the way to solve the problem. Well, I find this a lot with people, and what it does is, I mean the best thing is, with kind regards, is he signed the end of the thing. Oh, I'm banging on about Starmer's not as left-wing as you think. Didn't say he wasn't. There are more nutters in the world than him. He's working his way up to the top 10 easy, and banging on about Mick Lynch and all these sort of people. See, the thing is, something with kind regards after opening the line with "You're a far right prick," kind of, yeah. But see, the thing is, I was extremely critical of the Conservative government, especially when it comes to the armed forces, being ex-armed forces myself. Sort of subject that's close and dear to my heart. And I've also been very critical of a lot of things that the Conservative government have done. But again, people won't look like that. What they look at is somebody they disagree with. Don't bother to go back and check. Now, I haven't answered your email, Stephen, because to be fair, I neither have the time nor the crayons, and this'll do if you watch it, which I doubt. It's people amaze me, and we wonder why the country and the world struggles when we have people who are just argumentative and aggressive because they see something that they don't agree with and instantaneously presume so much about someone based on 30 seconds, 17 minutes. Now, I was once a Conservative voter. It's never going to happen again. And I won't lie, which might be a shock or horror to people, but in the last election I voted Reform, even though I have my issues and concerns with Reform, because I have concerns and issues with all politics, because they never really seem to have our interests at heart. And that's because, as I've covered in a video before, where I think that they shouldn't be having £93,000 a year plus expenses and all the backhanders they get off private businesses. They should be on minimum wage like the rest of us, because once they start earning a lot of money, that's going to be all they care about. And once they're in a position where they can be bought by big businesses, that's all they're going to care about. So in reality, politics-wise, politically-wise, kind of adrift, because I don't see anyone really that represents me, truly, honestly represents. So I will be critical of all of them. But, as with everything else, as life is in its general state, if a certain person or a particular politics or whatever says or does what I think or agree with, I'm going to congratulate them and say well done. Like a lot of what Lee Anderson says, I really like. Do I trust him? Problem is, he's a politician. But, you know, it is what it is. And that's the way of politics. So when somebody says you're a Tory, I'm not. Wow, big plane takeoff. Bit of an interrupt. You ain't going to see, just over there is the airport. So, to Stephen, you banging on that I'm a Tory and I seem to support Tories. Anyone else who thinks that, just go back over my back catalogue. Don't know, well, I don't know how many videos I've done now, but since I changed tax, a couple hundred, go back, done loads, and you'll see me being exceedingly critical of the Conservative government. I mean, there was a poll, who would you like to lead the Conservatives? As far as I'm concerned, I'd be glad if the Conservatives vanished, to be fair. Thing is, we need a party of real people, not bankers or anything like that, not businessmen, anything like that. Real people who've lived real lives and understand and have something that is severely lacking in politics: compassion. Not fake compassion where you go, we care, but we're going to do this, that and the other to screw you over. Genuine compassion. It's just, it's a mad world we live in, and you can see why things never get solved when you get people making snap judgments on people. Now, I've been guilty of that in the past, but I've learnt not to. Even when somebody says something that I don't agree with, doesn't mean I'm going to immediately hate that person because, or not like this person, because we are all human. Because in reality, that person, like me, I mean, I bet there's a lot of people who watch and follow me who don't always agree with what I have to say, but they like what I say and how I say it. There are plenty of people who I follow on YouTube where I don't always agree. I mean, there are some I do agree with all the time, but that's because they have the same mindset that I do. But even if that person then did something I didn't agree with, I wouldn't go, right, that's it, fuck it. No, I'm not having anything to do with them. Because we all have our own takes on things, and that sometimes those takes are going to annoy certain people. Like on Twitter, or X as it's called now, I mean, it's been called that for a while now, but people still call it Twitter. You know, people would tweet things and they're just insane. Now, I used to just ignore people, but I've now taken to blocking certain people because I just can't deal with their level of mind virus. Anyone who has hashtag, was it FBPE in their profile, blocked, because I've literally not got any time for them, because they're deluded. And if you're of a deluded mindset and you're not prepared at all to listen to reason, then there's no point in engaging with you, and I don't want your posts coming up at all. It's sad, but that's the way it is. So, as you can see, we're coming to the flagpole again, which is the indication of an end of a lap. So we can go on our final lap soon. I'm going to bring this one to a close. And while I do that, as we're talking about fans, for the umpteenth time, yes, I know my Union Jack is upside down in the shed. I've explained it twice in 2 separate videos. So I'm not going to explain it again. If you know, you know. If you don't, do some research. And if in reality that is all you've got to say, then whatever. It seems to be a bugbear of people, mainly those who are either ill-educated or just want to use it as an excuse to try and engage in some stupidity, which it's not going to do. It's 2 videos, one just recently, one a while ago, to explain why I have my Union Jack flying upside down, and it's not disrespectful at all. And yes, I do know which way to fly a Union flag. I'm ex-forces, I'm fully capable and understand which way it's supposed to go. So to all your flag is upside down lovers, please keep up with the interaction on the channel. Do some research, maybe you'll understand. Any case, as I'm already into lap 3, I better bring this one to a close. So, enough of that. I'm done. So, until the next one.
This once great nation, eroded by time, with its crushed population just towing the line. They're unnourished with poisons and brought up on lies. They wave foreign banners as the